HCGChica, welcome back. This is actually episode number 8 now of interviews with everyday people on the HCG diet. I actually have Virginia Ginn with me today, and the reason that I wanted to interview her is because her journey to health and fitness did not end with the end of the HCG diet, and so I just think she's a really good example of carrying on that healthy lifestyle after HCG is over. In fact, she's been continuing to lose weight and get stronger now that she's done with HCG. So I thought if we hear her story, you know, we can be encouraged by that. Virginia has actually a Facebook page. She's a fitness coach. You can find her at Virginia Ginn Fitness, 3 separate words on Facebook. So definitely go check her out and like her page. And if you are coming to a close with your HCG journey, or you're thinking ahead for the future, she actually can coach people on different fitness programs to help, keep you going. So you might keep that in mind as something for the future, and you can just contact her through her page. So welcome, Virginia.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. And you've got your little baby. This is your newest one, right?
Right, this is Crystal Lynn. She's 9 months old.
What an adorable baby.
I can't leave her with anybody. She has to be with me all the time.
Oh, that's so cute. So tell me just the basic overall statistics of your HCG. About how much weight did you lose? Size change?
It's been about 80 pounds, give or take like 5 pounds.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact number,
Sure.
but
so about 80-ish pounds. Yeah, which is significant.
Yeah.
Tell me, what was your highest starting weight?
My highest weight was 281.
281. Okay, gotcha. So tell me about your history with weight. Were you overweight growing up?
I was. I can remember being overweight as young as 6 years old.
Okay. What do you think, contributed to that?
What contributed to that, I think, was a lot of my upbringing. And, I don't think that any parent would knowingly raise their child to have bad habits.
Of
but,
course.
I just can remember having soda every day and candy bar, and it was both together at the same time. And we would eat hamburger helper every night, I swear.
Yeah.
And so we never had any, home cooked food. It was always out of the box. I can remember that. And that's not exactly the most nutritionally sound stuff there is.
But at the time it seemed like, oh, that's what all the parents do. Yeah. It seems like it's fine.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So even from as young as 6, then you were dealing with that.
Exactly. And being teased horrendously in school about it.
Yeah. But at the time, as you got older, did you think about trying to lose weight or wondering if it was possible? Or
I think I can remember trying to do my first diet as young as 10 or 11.
Okay, gotcha.
And asking my mom, I want to lose weight. I need to go on a diet. And yeah.
Aww. So it's hard though at that age to have the right information that you need, right?
It really is. You're not mentally capable of really understanding how to properly lose weight, or and especially as a child, the core needs of a child are so much different than an adult.
Right. Yeah, it's true. So you really had your struggles then. So did you ever yo-yo up and down, or were you pretty much just overweight for the vast majority of your youth?
I was overweight for the vast majority of my childhood, but then
It's okay.
Then when I was about 15, I started having these really irregular periods, and I had ovarian cyst or some. I think that's what it was, and I had to have one surgically removed because it was the size of a golf ball.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I remember having a menstrual period that lasted for 40 days straight.
Oh my goodness.
They put me on the Depo-Provera shot, which nobody has anything nice to say about.
Yeah.
Me just balloon up so big when I was 15. And that's when you're wanting attention from boys.
Yeah, that's the worst time.
Yeah, that's the worst time.
To gain weight.
So I got pretty big then.
I see. Oh man, that's awful. Yeah, I've heard really bad things about it as well. So, you, like a lot of others, have had some difficulties on the actual HCG protocol. I think most of us have our first round, which is like a honeymoon round where we do so wonderfully, lose so well. And then after that, sometimes things just tend to go awry. Tell me about your struggles with that.
Well, like you said, the first round is the honeymoon round because you're reading up on it and learning about it, and everywhere you go, people are saying, "Oh, you're going to lose a pound a day," and it's like this big promise. And they just kind of, the diet industry is just kind of make people, they think that everybody's lazy and they want an easy answer.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I kind of fell into that trap, and my first round went perfect. I didn't cheat at all. I did everything just right. But then the second round came along, and I think it was just that I realized, oh, I can lose this weight really fast. But then, it doesn't happen as fast on the second round, and so you get frustrated. And
Yeah.
I found myself eating out of boredom or getting tired of the food and wanting something different.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just it just kind of would spiral there. And I think I only lost like maybe 6 or 7 pounds my second round, which is nothing to shake a stick at, because if you really think about it, that's a lot of weight to lose in a short amount of time.
Sure. But you kind of knew that you were doing things that was hampering it, right?
I did know, and yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, well, I can just do another round.
Right.
That's not a mentality you want to fall into either.
Yeah, but it is something, like you said, that does affect a lot of us at one point or another. And so did you try doing other future rounds too and still struggle at times for a while?
Right. I think I've done 6 or 7 rounds altogether.
Gotcha.
Some of them have been partial rounds where I've stopped early because I've gotten frustrated and gotten tired of it.
Yeah.
And other rounds I've been more faithful. It just depends on,
Yeah.
how much I really want to change. I have to get all hyped up about it first, like anybody would, because it is difficult to do. It's not an easy protocol.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I think, and that's actually kind of why I wanted to talk about this, since you've been through that experience, because a lot of people that do this protocol do run into trouble. It's almost never smooth sailing. A few people do manage to do that, but very few, So that's why I wanted to ask you. You did go through all that, but you're here now. You're in a much better place, because we had talked about it. What was a turning point for you that helped you to kind of change those struggles?
Well, I think that I started really wondering, why can't I seem to stick with the protocol anymore? Because I would think back, well, the first round was so perfect. Why can't I do this? I had to do a lot of soul searching, and it's just like, do I want this or not? Yeah. So I had to really think, okay, well, why do I want to lose weight? Well, like anybody wants to lose weight, they want to be smaller and look better in clothes, which is really superficial, so that's not enough, really. And I didn't really realize that, but... Yeah. And I got thinking even deeper and deeper, and then all of a sudden I come across the weight loss apocalypse videos, and then it all just ding dong moment, hello, I'm bored. I don't have a deep enough reason to be wanting to lose the weight. And so I had to really do some soul searching and figure out why I was sabotaging myself.
That's good. So the book that she's talking about, it's called Weight Loss Apocalypse. You can actually get the book on Amazon. And also the author, Robin Woodall, she has her own YouTube videos. You can find her on YouTube as well. And she just, she uses the HCG protocol, but her book addresses just the deeper issues behind why we eat when we're not hungry and things like that. And just for anyone who's struggled on the protocol, and like her and even myself, that book is just it's a necessary read for sure, to help address those things. So for you, that really did help to adjust.
Majorly.
That's really cool. You had, when we were talking before, you mentioned to me 4 different things actually that were important to your overall success in the end, both on HCG and now, working out and being healthy. What were those things, those different factors?
See, I gotta think, but I think that number 1, you have to really ask yourself what it is you want out of life, what kind of a lifestyle do you want to live, and what kind of quality of life do you want to have.
Yeah.
And you have to also decide what you're going to do that. What kind of things are you willing to give up to have the things that you want and desire out of life.
Yeah. So just kind of looking beyond those superficial things, like you said, that you didn't even realize at first that was your only reason, and that it wasn't enough. So looking more at those deeper things.
And you just have to ask yourself, who am I? And, you know, learn to fall in love with yourself as you are, you know. Just, and I've heard this from more places than just Robin from Weight Loss Apocalypse. I've been coming across it everywhere. You have to fall in love with you.
Yeah.
And care for yourself enough to actually desire and stick with whatever it is you're doing to try to change.
I agree too, because yeah, if you need to value yourself not based on your size or what you look like, even though if it's true, if you value your actual person, you will make those changes because you value yourself. Whereas if you only value you when you look a certain way, it's going to be so easy, right, to be disappointed and to not live up to that all the time, you know?
Yep, yep. And you also have to change your lifestyle too. It's not just, you know, when I first came into the protocol, it was this promise of, oh, you're going to lose 30 pounds in 30 days and it's going to reset your hypothalamus and you can do whatever you want after that. Well, as nice as that sounds, it doesn't work that way. You go back to the old habits and you gain back, because I've done it. I've gained and lost the same weight over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's a vicious cycle, and it really messes with your psyche.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it's not true that you could just I think part of the thing is like going back to eating normal. It's like what a person classifies as normal could be very different. You know, it's like, is it normal eating fast food all the time? You know, if that's what you were doing before, you might think that, but it's like, well,
exactly.
This protocol really works, but it's not like a miracle.
Yeah. I was addicted to sugar before, just like you said that you were.
Yeah.
I used to always have a stash of chocolates around, and I don't even. I mean, I'll have them now and then, but I don't have a stash anymore in the house because I know that if it's around, I'm gonna probably get into it and eat it all.
Yeah, I would too. I used to go to people's homes where they keep a little dish of candy out for visitors. Like, man, I could never do that. I would just eat them all the second they were there. Nope.
How did you do this?
I know, I'm amazed. Every time I'd walk by, I'd be like, oh, it's so hard. That's funny. You know, you also had mentioned something about a mentality when you do screw up that can kind of define whether or not we continue to screw up or whether we make a change. I wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
My mentality has really evolved over time. To start out with, like my second round, that was the blow up round. I really beat myself up over the little stupid mistakes that I would make, and it's just, it's not worth it. I mean, now if I make a mistake, because I still do to this day, just because I'm a fitness coach doesn't mean I'm perfect.
Oh yeah.
I just look at it and say, oh well, I'm just gonna move on. I made a stupid, crappy decision, but you know what? It's not gonna affect my whole life. I'm not gonna stomp myself into the dirt about it. I'm just gonna move on.
Right, because at that point you can't change it anyway.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, and that guilt is not gonna help you. You know.
Because all it's gonna do is just make you probably want to do or just do more to screw yourself up even more.
Yeah, because I used to do the same thing actually. I just such an all or nothing person in the past that as soon as I would be on the diet for a little while, if I made one error, it was like, well, I've totally screwed up. I might as well just keep on going and mess up again, and because it's too late now, you know, and just you end up doing so much more damage instead of giving yourself a little grace and moving on, you know?
It's like, oh, well, I'm human. It's okay. We'll just move on.
Yeah, so you feel like you've kind of been able to learn to change your mentality in that way?
Yeah, that was a really hard thing to do. I had to really, really focus on that one. I found myself starting to do that, and I'm like, wait a second. No, I'm human. I made a mistake. It's okay. We're just going to move on.
That's good. I think that's really, really good advice. I think probably actually a lot of us who have these struggles on HCG is probably because we are in that mentality, you know, where we get too down on ourselves for messing up.
Exactly.
Is she trying to eat your hair?
She's trying to eat my necklace.
Oh, how cute.
Yeah, my hair's just stuck in it.
That's so adorable. There was two other things that I appreciated that you said in our conversation originally. One was you said you don't weigh frequently anymore, and the other one was that you don't want to think I can always go back on HCG. Can you tell me more about those two things?
Well, I've stopped weighing frequently, and
Why is
I
that?
think that that's the best move I ever made. What originally happened was my son broke my scale, so I couldn't weigh,
Oh,
and
okay.
I did a round without it, and that was the best round I've ever done in my life.
Really
And
interesting.
then I just like went right into maintenance, still without a scale, and just kind of did intuitive eating, focused on my hunger,
Yeah.
and just ate whenever my stomach started growling or I got hungry,
Yeah.
and I maintained really well and went by the way my clothes fit. They never got tight or anything.
Yeah.
And so I went and bought a scale finally because I just was curious. I had to check, and I actually lost more weight over maintenance, I think. I mean, I
Wow.
can't be sure, but I
Yeah.
know I didn't lose all that weight during that short little round.
Oh, wow.
I'm just like, wow.
This really
What?
works.
So yeah, then I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna mess with the scale as much anymore because it's just it would be a mental game with me. I'd get on it in the morning and then again in the afternoon and then again at night and then the next day, same process. If I gained a half a pound or something, I'd be going, oh my gosh, what did I do?
Yeah. So it just really
And
wasn't a healthy relationship you were having with
no,
the scale.
not at all. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I have to hide the scale from myself. I used to leave it laying on the bathroom floor, and that's just too big of a temptation. So I
Yeah.
just kind of stick it away. So I
Yeah.
have to leave the bathroom to go get it.
Yeah. Smart. So I
Yeah.
appreciate hearing that because I think everyone is different in what works for them. This obviously works for you well. And actually, a recent interview I had with Donna, giving it my all 2011 on YouTube, she said basically the same thing as you, that for her, taking the scale out of the picture for the most part was the best thing for her,
Hmm.
both in what she actually did and, mentally and emotionally. So it's nice, that that's been your same experience.
Yeah, it's a trip too. I don't know why, but we just get so attached to the number, and it's
Yeah.
really not, your weight can fluctuate so much in one day.
Yeah,
It's,
right. Right. Yes. I do have to
there's
remind
just a
people of
lot of
that
factors
sometimes.
that go into it.
Yes, yeah, drinking a glass of water, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so that's good. It's good to know that because for myself, like I actually do weigh pretty much every day, and for me, it's just I get on once, that's it, and it just kind of helps me decide if I'm gonna be a little more carefree that day or maybe be a little stricter, and that's fine for me. But I have seen a
Yeah.
number of people do better removing it from the picture, so
if
that's good.
if you can do it without getting all attached to the number and freaking out, then that's
Yeah,
awesome. But for
yeah,
me, I would know that I'd be like, oh my gosh, what did I do? And so I'm
yeah.
just not even gonna partake in that.
Yeah, so it's good just to find what works for you personally, which will be different than for someone else. How
Yeah.
about what you didn't want to think to yourself as far as doing future rounds or having it as a crutch, having HCG as a
I
crutch?
just I've heard a lot of people say this, and it's just I used to think the same thing before. Oh, well, I can, if I screw up, I can just do another round of HCG. I'm going on vacation, so I can always do another round of HCG, so I can be carefree. I don't want to have that mentality that I can always just fall back on HCG
Yeah,
because it's just, I don't think it's very healthy for your body to keep going back to it
right.
forever like that.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I mean, there's a time and place for it if you are overweight, but losing weight itself is definitely a stress on the body, much more so than maintaining your weight. So,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. So that's good. I think that that's a good thing to remember because I think we can sometimes just, like you said, just justify things to ourselves and
Yeah.
yeah, you want to break away. And that's actually sometimes why I think taking long breaks from HCG, even on your journey, can be good because that way you don't really have a license to cheat or overindulge because you know that you're not doing it again for several months. And it kind of forces you to think differently about it. Whereas if you think, oh, I'm going back on it in 4 weeks anyway, it could be easier to allow yourself to let go.
I'm gonna have like 5 slices of pie because I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Or I'm gonna preload. I'm gonna load before I load.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't want to do that. That
Yeah.
doesn't sound too
Yeah,
healthy.
yeah. Well, that's good. So I'm glad that, for you kind of recognize that as a possible thought pattern and try to work away from that.
Yeah, I know that myself. I've done that. I've been like, oh, well, I'm starting around in a couple of weeks anyway. I might as well just eat whatever I want right now. And then I would find myself getting more and more and more sloppy with my eating habits. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
I find myself getting like really sloppy, especially when it comes to like 2 weeks before I was gonna start. Then I just kind of start eating basically whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, just because.
Yeah. So it just didn't
So
keep you accountable because you had that in the back of your head, like, oh.
yeah, that's I see. I've noticed that about myself, so that's another reason I don't want to have. I don't want to have that to fall back on.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Lifelong habits is what I'm establishing now.
Yeah, that's so important. Now, you lost the bulk of your weight with HCG, but you didn't complete like your weight loss journey with HCG. You chose to finish. You did the bulk of it with that, but you're finishing your journey with other methods. Can you tell me, what you're doing now, how that's making you feel?
Well, right now I'm pretty much just exercising. I do a lot of weight training and just eating healthy foods, a lot of leafy green vegetables and lean meats, and just trying to stay away from sugar and starchy foods as much as possible. I do indulge now and then, but
Yeah.
I mean, you have to indulge every now and then to stay sane, I
Oh,
think.
sure. Yeah.
But that's what I'm doing, and I haven't really been that faithful exercising this week, but usually it's an everyday thing for me, and I
Cool.
get up and, okay, it's 8 o'clock, time to exercise.
And you said you've lost some additional weight, right, since then? About how much is that?
Like 19 pounds.
That's a lot. So now you're actually close to
Right
100
away.
pounds. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's been awesome. I didn't think that I could ever lose weight that way because it's never worked in my whole life. But then
Yeah.
I see this now that I've got new habits established. It's like, oh, it really is possible to lose weight the conventional way.
Yeah. And you kind of had such a nice big jump start with HCG,
Mm-hmm.
right? Getting a big
Yeah,
chunk off and
exactly. It gave me the desire to keep moving.
yeah.
And as my body's gotten smaller, I've craved moving around and doing things more. I don't want to just sit on the couch and watch TV anymore.
Yeah.
That's a plus.
That's really good. So tell me how has your overall size changed? Like when before you started HCG at 281 pounds and then about where are you at now size wise?
Well, I started 281 pounds. I think it was around the size 24.
Okay.
And so I'm 5'9", so, I was tall and
Yeah.
round, and then went down to the size, I'm in a comfortable 14 now. They're kind of a little bit loose on me,
Yeah.
actually. So I could probably go in a 12 if I wanted to.
That's really
And
cool.
I'm 195 last time I checked.
Awesome. That is so amazing. So almost 100 pounds.
Yeah,
That is
so
fantastic.
I'm thinking like 20 more pounds and I'll be where I want to be.
That's great. How has your lifestyle change affected your family? You have how many children do you have?
I have three. I have 7-year-old girl Luna and the 4-year-old boy Phoenix, and then the baby here is 9 months old. She's Crystal.
Aw.
And I think that how it's affected the family life is that since I no longer have the junk food around anymore as often, they're not reaching for that and eating that. When it's right there, it's convenient, and
Right.
I'm hungry, I'm gonna have a handful of chips.
Yeah.
And we eat a lot of home cooked food, whereas before it was we would go out, be lazy. We're gonna go to McDonald's tonight,
Yeah.
So I mean, overall, I think that they're gonna benefit from it because number one, they're not gonna be overweight kids. Of course, my son could never be because he's a skinny people anyway. But at least with my girls, I worry about them.
Oh, for
They have
sure.
a tendency, especially my oldest. She chubs out before she grows taller.
Yeah, yeah. What were some of those practical changes that you made for them to be able to eat more healthy along with you?
It's just little small changes like just packing foods, snack foods, putting in little snack Ziploc bags, having serving sizes ready for them to just grab.
Yeah.
Reorganizing the fridge and having veggies and fruits already rinsed and cut up, ready to just reach in and grab and eat.
Yeah.
So they're not coming to me, Mom, I'm hungry, and then I have to cook something.
Yeah, so there's actually stuff kind of at their level that they can.
Yeah.
Do they actually eat it? Do they actually eat the vegetables?
They do. They do.
Wow.
They love the carrot sticks. They love the celery. They eat blackberries when they're in the fridge, and strawberries I can't keep.
That's
I buy them,
awesome.
they're gone in 2 seconds.
That's fantastic.
They eat everything. They just don't eat lettuce or anything like that. I guess that's grown-up food.
Yeah, it's hard. I know. Sometimes I try to get my son to eat like spring mix lettuce, and yeah, he has a hard time with it.
Yeah, kids just don't like that stuff.
Yeah, it's like not enough crunch to it or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, but that's good. So they are eating these other healthier foods, and they weren't eating this type of stuff before you made this change.
Right, because I didn't have it around as much.
So before, what kind of snacks did you have before?
I used to have my candy stash,
Oh,
which
right.
they would find out where it is because
Yeah.
they're kids and they
Yes.
have radar for that sort of thing.
Yep.
And, you know, I never had anything like ready and cut up and ready to go in the fridge before. So it'd just be, Mom, we're hungry. And so, you know, Mom's going to grab something fast and whatever it is. Well, there's already a cheese cup. Here, let's pop it in the microwave.
Gotcha. I gotcha. That's really good to hear that you've been able to make that change and that they've been able to go along with it. I think that's probably something that can be nerve-wracking too when you're trying to get your family to change, because kids can be so picky, you know, and especially if they're used to eating McDonald's or things that are sweet or greasy. But
yeah, I think that one thing that I did right with them was that I didn't rely on flavors for them growing up. Like, I'd give them milk and I wouldn't like give them chocolate milk or anything like that. So they grew up without me having to flavor things. So I think that helped a lot.
That's good. That's really good. Aww. Yeah, I think that that's a good thing to hear, because there are a lot of moms out there with young families that, yeah, they need to make the change not only for themselves but for their whole family. So kind of finding a way to do that is also part of it, you know.
I really lucked out that my kids took to it so easily.
That's really good. Yeah, I actually, and you know, sometimes I think until you try something, you may be surprised, because my son, like, he loves granola bars, and he loves sweet stuff. Like, there's, you know, like every kid, of course they like sweet stuff. So there's certain healthier foods I just kind of assumed that he would not eat, or that it would be a real pain to make him eat. But I was pleasantly surprised. He loves carrot sticks. He loves raw bell pepper. He loves raw bell pepper, which is, I actually don't like that, so it's just like whoa, I can't believe it. He'll actually munch on pieces of red bell pepper, and but sometimes you don't even know that until you try it, and you might be pleasantly surprised. So I was surprised.
You never know.
Yeah.
Your kids are just people, and people forget that your kids are different than you. They may like something that you hate.
Yeah, because sometimes for me anyway, I might like not even try something just because I'm like, oh, I already know he's not gonna like it, and it's gonna be a huge fight, and so it's good to not assume. I've learned, you know, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's good. Was there anything else that you wanted to share that you think it's important for people to know?
No, I just think that it's a mental game.
Yeah.
You have to really go through a lot of mental stuff through this journey to get to where, you know, I'm at. I had to go through a lot. I'm black and white from where I started to where I am now.
I see. But it was worth it, and
it
did work.
It was. There was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears through the whole thing, but it was worth it because I'm in a really good place now, and
that's good.
I think I'm heading in the right direction.
Yeah, you are. How has the actual exercise aspect of things now, how does that help you on a day-to-day basis?
Well, you know, you get that high from exercising anyway.
Yeah.
I used to hate exercise. You'd be like, oh man, this hurts, you know, lifting weights, like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
When your last rep, you feel like you're gonna die, but then afterwards, like, wow, I just did that, and then that high afterwards is so worth what you're going through.
Cool.
Actually doing the workout.
Yeah.
So it's just a sense of accomplishment. It's been life-changing for me. I'm just like, wow, look at this. I've got guns. I'll show it everybody.
That's awesome.
Like, not to be obsessed with myself, but look.
But look, I look great. That's really good. I enjoy the same thing as you. I love being strong. Like, wow, I can't believe I lifted that much. That's so crazy. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Like, I never thought that I could do this. And, you know, me at 281 pounds, I probably couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
But now so that's, you know, HCG gave me that edge. It helped me get a lot of the weight off of me so that I could do the things that I'm doing now physically.
Yeah. And I think that's a great way to go about it too. I essentially did the same thing. I lost kind of all the weight first, and then I started working out with CrossFit, and it was just nice, yeah, being able to go into the gym. I wasn't very extremely heavy, or I was definitely really out of shape, but I was able to get fit more quickly because I had already lost a lot of fat.
Right, and
So,
then it spares your muscle anyway, so
mhm.
that you can just jump right in.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts today. I appreciated seeing you that, even though you've used HCG, it's not continuing to be a crutch, but it was just part of your whole journey. And now you're doing all these other great things with just being healthy for life, and actually being successful, continuing to lose weight. I thought that that was actually really fantastic. So remember again, if you want to check into being coached in the future on some type of fitness program. Tell me, what are the different type of fitness programs that they can do while being coached?
Oh, just a few to name would be Insanity, P90X, Brazil Butt Lift, Slim and Six. I'm sure that a lot of people have heard of those if they've been
Yeah,
up late at night watching TV and commercials.
yeah,
But just any beach body program.
gotcha. And what's the advantage of having someone coach you one-on-one, do you
Well, I
think?
think it's just, it helps keep you accountable. You tell the coach what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, and if you tell me what you want to accomplish, I'm going to check in with you and ask you how it's going, ask you if there's anything that I can help you with, and just make sure that, you know, you're achieving your goals because I want to help people get to where they want to be because I never had that through this whole thing. It was just all on me, and I really wish I would have had a coach to be there to help
Yeah.
me.
And who better really, I mean, the advantage that you have as a coach and being able to coach others is that you have been through this process. There are a lot of fitness coaches who've never really been overweight, which is
Mhm.
actually, I mean, great. We're happy for them. But as a result, sometimes they don't have the right understanding of what it's like to be overweight, or the reasons behind why you might have overeaten. And you've been through all of that. So for anyone coming off of HCG who wants to do that, you're really the ideal person to coach someone because you've been through that. You know what it's like, so you can really have that empathy, and help them, work through those issues.
Yeah, I can relate and help you out. I've been there, so we'll get through this.
That's really good. So yeah, her Facebook page again was Virginia Beal Fitness, 3 separate words on Facebook. And yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, you got my hair. Let go.
That's fine because I need to look at the next question here. Oh, that's right.